Okay, let's start with a thought. Imagine, what if one of Earth's most, desolate places holds secrets so profound they could completely rewrite history as we know it. Right. We're talking about Antarctica, that huge frozen continent way down south. Today we're doing a deep dive that honestly promises to pull back the curtain on something really extraordinary.
Yeah, and our source for this is pretty unique. It's a transmission, apparently, from a collective called the Pleiadians. Came through a YouTube channel, and they call it an urgent and loving message.
Right, about humanity's shocking hidden history. That's the hook.
Exactly. So our mission today, explore how Antarctica, according to the source, isn't just ice and snow. It's supposedly this central stage where cosmic dramas have played out.
Cosmic drama.
And it ties directly into humanity's ascension journey. That's like a big leap in consciousness and spiritual evolution they talk about, and our planet's liberation.
Liberation from old ways, old control.
That seems to be the idea. And they really mean cosmic.
Yeah, the Pleiadians claim there's a major base under the ice, driving, for decades. And get this, governments have apparently known for almost a century.
And it involves, well, some controversial players, reptilian beings, they say, and connections to ancient galactic wars.
Okay, look, we know this sounds, well, pretty out there, like sci-fi stuff.
Absolutely.
But the Pleiadians do say that, researchers, whistleblowers, people they call way showers, have been hinting at parts of this for years.
Bits and pieces leaking out.
So we're asking you to just open your mind a bit. Let's explore these claims together. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the core idea, for decades, a huge underground base deep under the ice, completely hidden. It's painted as this complex reality most people couldn't even imagine.
Hidden by miles of ice, extreme cold.
Right, and it's not just like a couple of buildings. It's a formidable stronghold. Extensive caverns, actual tunneled cities, hangars, labs, all carved out down there.
And they called it, what was it, Shangri-La on ice?
Yeah, apparently some insiders use that term. Poetic, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
But the origin story is maybe even wilder. It supposedly goes back to a breakaway group from Germany.
From Germany, yeah. During the World Wars era, late 30s, 40s. While the surface world was fighting, these German groups were apparently putting major resources into Antarctica secretly.
And they found caverns.
Yeah, huge natural caverns under the ice shelves. Some were massive and apparently warmed by geothermal heat.
Geothermal, so not freezing inside.
Exactly. Spring-like temperatures, the source says. Warm enough to build functional bases.
Wow. So it's like a ready-made hidden world?
Pretty much. And their vision was clear. Build an impregnable fortress. A secret refuge, a power center, a place their regime could survive, maybe even rise again if they lost the war above ground.
And there are clues, the source says. Hints of this.
Yeah, they mention things like accounts after WWII of German U-boats, submarines that supposedly fled, taking personnel, tech, maybe even leaders to secret spots in Antarctica.
Right, those stories have been around.
And there was a German admiral who apparently spoke cryptically about an unreachable fortress, something made from another world.
Made from another world. Suggestive.
Very. So the conclusion from this source is that by the end of World War II, you basically had a small, hidden civilization taking root under the Antarctic ice.
Centered around this fortified base.
Right, and they were developing advanced aerospace tech, like really advanced.
A secret space program, an embryo, they called it.
Yeah, underground hangars, high-tech workshops, way beyond public knowledge at the time.
Okay, but it gets even stranger, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, here's the twist. This Antarctic base, it wasn't just human. The source says it was, from the very beginning, a joint human-ET venture.
ET, extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial, yeah. Apparently, certain ET groups saw an opportunity and helped these rogue humans set up shop.
Helped them. Who?
Well, the primary allies mentioned are the Reptilians, or Draco.
Draco, like the constellation.
Right, often associated with Draco and Orion in these kinds of narratives, a reptoid species, and the Pleiadians claim these Draco were instrumental in helping the German breakaway group.
Instrumental how?
They provided guidance, advanced knowledge, showed them exactly where to build under the ice for maximum security, taught them how to tap into that geothermal heat efficiently.
So they were like mentors. And muscle.
That's exactly how the source puts it. Mentors and muscle.
Wow. Were they the only ones?
The source mentions another group, too, human-looking Nordics. Supposedly some from the Aldebaran system. They apparently helped the Germans initially as well.
Nordics, too?
Yeah, the Pleiadians make a point of saying they disavow the actions they took.
So different ET factions, maybe different agendas?
It certainly implies that. Not all ETs were on the same page regarding Earth back then, according to this.
Okay, so you've got this alleged human ET base under the ice, alliances forming.
Yeah.
What happens when the surface world starts poking around?
Well, that leads us right to Operation High Jump.
Right, 1946-47. Admiral Byrd. Big U.S. Navy operation.
Huge. Officially, it was all about training and research. Standard stuff.
But the source says the real mission was different.
Very different. It was urgent to explore and neutralize any German presence down there. They suspected something.
And what they found was not what they expected.
Not even close. According to this source, the American task force encountered, highly advanced flying craft.
Flying craft?
Yeah, emerging from the ocean, from under the ice itself, described as silvery disc-shaped craft.
Flying saucers.
Pretty much. And they could outfly anything the Navy had. Impossible maneuvers. And they apparently fired energy beams that destroyed or disabled U.S. planes and vehicles.
Energy beams disabled their equipment.
Yeah. The source is quite clear. The American task force was ambushed, overwhelmed. They mention flying saucers with swastika-like markings and even other flying craft of non-human design.
So a mix of tech.
Yeah.
Some potentially German breakaway, some other.
That's the implication. A joint defense, perhaps?
In the operation.
Cut short. They retreated. The source claims the Armada basically limped back.
And Admiral Byrd. Didn't he say something afterwards?
He did. Reportedly spoke to a Chilean newspaper, gave a pretty ominous warning. Said the U.S. must prepare defenses against fighters that can fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds.
Pole to pole. Incredible speeds. That doesn't sound like conventional tech for the 1940s.
Not at all. The message was stark. Some unknown, powerful force was dug in down in Antarctica.
And this, the source says, kicked off a kind of new Cold War. But secret.
Exactly. A Cold War behind the scenes. Governments knew, but the public didn't.
So what happened next?
Treaties.
Yeah, treaties were signed later to demilitarize Antarctica, promote science, officially.
But the real reason?
According to this source, it was to make sure no nation would openly poke around those sensitive areas. Keep a lid on it.
And behind the scenes. Deals.
Supposedly, secret talks between the U.S., the Soviets, and this Antarctic German faction, leading to an uneasy alliance, secret deals, sharing tech maybe? Like Project Paperclip, bringing German scientists to the U.S.
The source connects it, yeah. Suggests some tech transfer happened covertly. Technologies perhaps developed under the ice were quietly integrated.
So, if this is true, governments knew. For decades.
Yeah.
Why the intense secrecy?
Well, according to the Pleiadians, it's because the truth would shatter too many lies.
Lies about what?
About the real end of the war, about who held power, definitely about ET existence, and about technology that could have changed the world but was kept hidden.
Suppressed tech.
Exactly. It was just too much, too destabilizing for the world order they were building.
Okay, let's zoom out even more now. Beyond the world wars, beyond the Germans. The source says Antarctica's importance goes way deeper, doesn't it? Historically, spiritually?
Oh, absolutely. Miles under the current ice sheet, they say, lie remnants of a very different past. A time maybe 50, 60,000 years ago, or even way, way earlier, when Antarctica was actually warm, green, and inhabited.
Inhabited? By who?
Advanced beings. The source uses names like Patamites, Atlanteans, Lemurians, terms often associated with legendary lost civilizations.
Right, familiar names from mythology and esoteric circles.
But here's a fascinating detail. These groups, the Atlanteans or whoever, apparently weren't even the first ones there.
Not the first.
No, they built their cities on top of even older ruins, structures dating back millions of years.
Millions. Left by who?
A primordial Earth civilization, the source calls them. It's like a layered cake of civilizations down there. New groups building on ancient foundations.
Wow. And these ancient inhabitants, what were they like?
Highly evolved. They supposedly had incredible knowledge of science, energy, and genetics. Think magnificent halls with metal alloys lining the walls, devices that could manipulate gravity.
Gravity manipulation.
Yeah, and genetic laboratories. They experimented with hybrid creatures, even did early genetic modifications of humans.
Genetic engineering. Thousands, maybe millions of years ago.
That's the claim, but then something catastrophic happened.
The big freeze.
Exactly. Around 12,000 years ago, a sudden, drastic event, a great flood and freeze, known in myth as the fall of Atlantis, or connected to the Younger Dryas cataclysm in geology.
The Younger Dryas. That was a real period of rapid cooling, wasn't it?
No, it was. And according to the source, during that event, Antarctica was flash frozen, geologically instantly.
Flash frozen, like everything preserved.
Just like that. Entire cities preserved like a cosmic Pompeii under the ice.
Incredible. And these ruins, they've been found.
Allegedly, yes, by modern secret programs. They found vast halls filled with strange machines, rooms lined with gold and copper, and even the preserved bodies of the former civilization themselves.
Preserved bodies?
Yeah. Dehydrated, mummified bodies, some supposedly with elongated skulls.
Elongated skulls, another recurring theme in alternative history.
It is, and the contents of these finds, just astounding if true. Advanced energy devices, remnants of spacecraft, libraries of knowledge.
Library, like records?
Yeah, stored perhaps technologically, and also the skeletal, or rather mummified remains of giants and peculiar beings.
Giants, okay. So what's the relevance of all this ancient history for us now? For this ascension path they mentioned?
Well, the Pleiadians frame it as a vital missing chapter of humanity's origin story. It shows, they say, that we have always been part of a larger galactic family. We weren't isolated.
And maybe that our history is much, much older and more complex than we think.
Precisely. But it also serves as cautionary wisdom.
How so?
These ancient civilizations, as advanced as they were, apparently fell partly due to their own misuse of science, genetics, and power. A warning for us today.
Don't repeat the same mistakes.
That seems to be the message.
Okay, let's go even bigger picture now. Galactic scale. You mentioned Orion Wars.
Right. The source connects Antarctica's whole situation, even the recent stuff with the Germans and Reptilians, to these ancient Orion Wars. These were apparently huge conflicts eons ago, involving civilizations from Lyra, Orion, Sirius. Even Pleiadian ancestors were involved.
What were they fighting about?
A fundamental clash of philosophies, it sounds like. Service to self, aggressive empires seeking domination. They link these often with Orion and Draconian groups versus freedom-loving, compassionate groups associated more with Lyra and the Pleiades.
A classic light versus dark. Freedom versus control narrative on a cosmic scale.
Pretty much. And Earth, or Terra, was apparently a really coveted jewel in all this. Kind of a neutral zone, an experimental ground for life. But its strategic value also attracted those negative factions involved in the Orion conflicts.
So Earth became a battleground, or at least a place of influence struggles.
It seems so. And the situation in Antarctica, particularly the Reptilians allying with the German breakaway group, is presented as a direct extension of the Orion Wars drama playing out here. That alliance represented the Orion Dark Agenda gaining a foothold.
Wow. And where do we fit into this, the listener, potentially?
Well, if you're resonating with this information, especially if you identify as a starseed.
A starseed.
Someone whose soul perhaps originated elsewhere on another star system and incarnated here with a purpose.
Okay.
The source suggests you might actually be a veteran and emissary of those ancient wars.
A veteran. Here now.
Yeah, here now, to help ensure Earth doesn't fall to control, to help it ascend towards freedom, to make sure it doesn't go the way other worlds might have during those wars.
That's a heavy thought, but also empowering, maybe.
Definitely. And there's an update on this conflict, too, a significant one. The source mentions recent reports of a Draco Royal offering to surrender and leave Earth.
A surrender from the Draco leadership.
That's the claim, a sign that their influence here, their part in this long war, is ending.
Which would mean?
That the eventual clearing out of that Antarctic base, which they imply is happening or will happen, isn't just a geopolitical cleanup. It symbolically and literally ends the Orion War on Earth. It's the final chapter of that ancient conflict playing out under the ice.
Mind-blowing. It connects everything from WWII politics to ancient galactic history.
It really ties it all together in their narrative.
You know, it's fascinating how the source talks about clues, hints dropped in pop culture.
Yeah, they say, the universe has a way of leaking truth through whispers and art. Soft disclosure, almost.
And they give a really specific, quite intriguing example from the movie Alien.
The first one, 1979. Get this. Early in the film, the spaceship Nostromo is making a call. And the line is, this is commercial towing vehicle Nostromo out of the Solomons calling Antarctica traffic control.
Antarctica traffic control. for a spaceship in the future.
Exactly. Why Antarctica? Why not Houston or some lunar base? The source calls this soft disclosure, a deliberate seed planted in the collective mind.
Hinting that Antarctica is already, or will be, an established hub for aerospace. Maybe even space travel.
That's the idea. Not just a random line, but a calculated hint, preparing us subtly.
And it's not just Alien, is it? Think about other stories set there.
Right. The Thing, Alien versus Predator, even the X-Files used Antarctica for alien stuff. Hidden bases, weird discoveries.
It's a recurring trope.
Yeah, and the Pleiadians suggest this happens because the human psyche knows something is down there. It bubbles up into our fiction, our art.
And the irony.
The cosmic irony, they call it, is that the very groups supposedly hiding the truth might have also felt compelled, maybe subconsciously or strategically, to sprinkle clues.
Assuming most people would just see it as fiction.
Exactly. But now, for many, those fictional pieces might start looking like parts of a real puzzle.
So bringing it back to the listener.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for you right now?
Well, if this deep dive resonates, if you feel drawn to this kind of information, the Pleiadians suggest you probably identify as a starseed, or a light worker, or a truth seeker.
Light worker, someone working for positive change, truth seeker, looking for hidden knowledge.
That's the gist, and they say your soul likely came here with a purpose, specifically to help Earth during this huge shift, this monumental ascension cycle.
And unveiling secrets like Antarctica is part of that shift, lifting the veil.
It's presented as a key part of it, yeah. But navigating this kind of disclosure, it could get bumpy.
Bumpy how? Shocking for the mainstream.
Potentially, yes. But the source describes starseeds, light workers, people like you listening perhaps, as the anchors of calm, compassion, and clarity.
So the ones who aren't totally thrown by it.
Right, the ones others might turn to when these shocking revelations emerge.
So there's a responsibility there.
Definitely. They emphasize using discernment and discretion. Don't just dump it on people. Engage curiosity rather than triggering fear. Offer the information lovingly when people are ready.
And what about anger? People might feel angry about being lied to for so long.
That's natural, the source acknowledges. But they encourage focusing on solutions in the future, not getting stuck in punishment of past wrongs. Build the new, don't just tear down the old.
And they see a future leadership role for people resonating with this.
Very much so. Many of you will be called to lead, they say, maybe as teachers explaining our galactic connections, or healers helping people process the emotional impact.
Or maybe more practical roles.
Yeah, tech-oriented people helping implement new, clean technologies, perhaps derived from these finds, or even historians rewriting the history books with this new information.
So an active role in building whatever comes next.
Exactly. And the crucial message is, you're not alone.
Not alone how? Support.
Yes. They speak of legions of benevolent ETs, like the Pleiadian fleets themselves, offering support from, well, behind the scenes for now.
And open contact, is that on the table?
They hint it's the next phase after major disclosures like Antarctica settle in. But there's a condition. Humanity needs to demonstrate unity and peace first.
To show we're ready, won't freak out or react with hostility.
That seems to be the requirement. It puts the responsibility back on us.
So the overall message isn't fear, despite the heavy topics. It's hope.
Absolutely. Hope and empowerment. Humanity isn't doomed, isn't alone, isn't powerless. Unveiling Antarctica is like opening a long sealed vault. Inside, yes, there's a record of past tragedies, but also the treasure that will benefit your future.
Treasure-like. Advanced tech. Last knowledge.
Things like that. They paint a picture. Imagine a grand announcement worldwide, revealing stunning finds under the Antarctic ice, maybe advanced structures and intact spacecraft, maybe even evidence of non-human bodies.
How would people react?
Well, they picture you, the listener who's been exploring these ideas, reacting differently, smiling calmly, maybe with tears of relief, whispering, "Welcome to the real world. It's been a long time coming."
A sense of validation, finally.
Exactly. And this isn't just about knowing the past. It's the start of a new era, co-creation. They talk about possibilities like clean energy from the void, medical beds that use frequency and light, deeper knowledge of soul and consciousness.
Things that could really change everything.
Fundamentally. So the final image they leave us with is powerful. The long Antarctic night is ending. The first rays of a global dawn are visible on the horizon.
Wow. That's quite a vision.
It is. A message that the truth, however challenging, ultimately sets you free, leads to a brighter destiny.
So the question for you listening becomes, as the ice melts, literally and metaphorically, what truths inside you are waiting to thaw and come to light, something to reflect on. Trust your intuition, your inner resonance as you process all this. Thank you for joining us on this very deep dive